So this is question number 4 on the homework with the sums and left Riemann sums, right Riemann sums, and midpoint Riemann sums. I think the issue is the way they asked the question. They said the lower sums with n equal to 4. And the lower sum is just the smallest y value on each of the intervals. So if n is 4, and we're going from 0 to 8 on this function, then when I take 8 minus 0, and to tell me I'm traveling a distance of 8 across the x-axis, I want to break that up into 4 rectangles in this case. So 8 divided by 4 give me 2. So my delta x in this case will be 2, because this rectangle is 2 boxes wide. Now when it says lower sum, I want to choose the point where the smallest y value occurs on each of these intervals. So on the interval from 0 to 2, since this is a decreasing curve, the smallest y value will occur at the right endpoint. The same will be true on the second interval that goes from 2 to 4, and the third interval that goes from 4 to 6. 6 will be where the minimum occurs, and the last one goes from 6 to 8, and the minimum occurs on the right side at 8. So if I wanted to find the area, if I wanted to find the lower sums with approximation to the area under this curve between 0 and 8, I would add up the area of rectangle 1, which would be 2 times 8, or 16, plus rectangle 2, which would be 2 times 6, which is 12, plus rectangle 3, which is 2 times 4, which is 8, and rectangle number 4, which is 2 times 2, which is 4. So if my math is right, when we add up the areas of these rectangles, we'll get 40. I believe the other part of this question asks the same thing. You're just using n equals 8. So instead of each rectangle being 2 units wide, each rectangle will be 1. Now part B of this asks for upper sums. So upper sums are very similar to the lower sums. The only way they differ is that now instead of using the smallest y value on each of these intervals to determine the height of the rectangle, we're going to use the largest. So the largest y value on the interval from 0 to 2 occurs when x is equal to 0. The largest y value from 2 to 4 occurs at x equals 2. So basically, it's always going to be the left endpoint because this line is a decreasing function. So our over approximation would be the area of these 1, 2, 3, 4 blue rectangles. So the first one, so this would be for part B, the upper sum is going to be 2 times 10, or 20, 2 times 8, or 16, 2 times 6, or 12, and 2 times 4, which is 8. So I believe if you add up those 4 numbers, you're going to end up with 56. So if this is the lower sum, and this is the upper, the actual area underneath that curve has to be somewhere in between those two. So I'll let you try it when n is 8 for both the lower sum and the upper sum, but that's the idea behind this. Thanks.